Yo, what up to the Creed, man? What up to the Creed, man? Hey, I'm finna put something on you, so-called, man. Now, for real. I gotta clear up some things that may have gotten misconstrued last night. Somebody commented on my video from last night, and he basically thought I was trying to organize nationals and state citizens under a leader, basically. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll make a good leader. I'll make a damn good leader, you feel me? But that's not the objective or the idea that I was intending to convey. What I was saying was that we all need to come together. All state citizens, American nationals, foreign nationals, whatever you calling yourself, we all need to come together under the same umbrella and move with the same energy. When I say that, I mean like squad up and really have each other's backs. You know, we got to be heard when they overstep. We can't just keep getting picked off one by one, because if anybody wants to be honest, that's what's happening. People is out here getting picked off one by one. And we need more people being honest about what's really happening. No more hiding behind fairy tales. I gotta speak up on this if nobody else will. I think most of us have come to an understanding. Oh man, I just used that word. Now all type of people gonna hit me in the comments talking about, you're using the word understanding and I don't stand under it and all this other stuff. This ain't court, so chill out, you feel me? But anyways, I think by now we've come to a realization that with the passport and private plates, you're pretty much good. And they rarely end up towing us, you feel me? But they still do hand out tickets the majority of the time. But you got that passport, you got your private plates, we don't really end up getting towed or be forced to step out, you know? And this is whether or not you have a driver's license. People without driver's license are getting the same results as people with a driver's license. Correct me if I'm wrong or show me different. People who authenticated the birth certificate are getting the same results as those who didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong or show me different. People who sent an affidavit or statement attached with their DS-11 passport applications are getting the same results as those who didn't attach an explanatory statement or an affidavit or whatever the case. Correct me if I'm wrong or show me different. People with 3 stars are getting the same results as people with 4 or 5 on their passport cards. Correct me if I'm wrong or show me different. And I really mean that. If you guys are finding results doing things one way instead of doing it another, then really show me that so we can get down to the bottom of it. Because at this point, I'm going to talk about what nobody seems to speak on. It's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And we got to get rid of all the extra fluff that's floating around and dispel these rumors, because it's causing too much congestion and we're wasting time. There's too many people in my inbox. And I ain't even posted about this state citizen, American national stuff in a while. But it's too many people in my inbox with all these different questions, and I'd rather just answer everyone at the same time from here. Those of you with a license, that's cool. I understand or realize that many of you have jobs that may require it, or you do Uber, or you do Lyft, or DoorDash, or you drive a forklift, or like me, you want to rent cars when you out of state or out of the country. And rental cars are commercial in nature, so it's rightfully required that you would need the license. But just because you have a license doesn't mean that you can no longer operate in the private. And excuse me for using that operate word, but I don't know a better word to use. There's people telling me that they were told that since they have a license to drive, then they waive their rights and they can't operate in the private anymore. They're stuck in the public. And I don't believe this to be true. As I stated, who can show me that people without licenses are being treated differently than people with them? Who can show me that? Because from what I've seen, we all getting the same results whether you got one or not. Those without licenses still get tickets. And those with a license sometimes get let off without any tickets or fines. We've seen many of the same and different outcomes expressed on both sides. Like, even public officials are treated as private people when they're not in their official capacity. So how could they hold a driver's license over your head 24 hours a day if they're not even doing that to public officials? You feel me? When Even when an off-duty officer is charged as a regular person, you would, basically. So anytime an off-duty officer catches a charge or whatever the case is, they get charged as a regular person, and you can't sue the police department. And why can't you sue the police department if an officer does something to you while he's off duty or whatever the case? Because an off-duty officer in plain clothes is in his private capacity and not his public one. So even a cop can switch back to his private capacity. Even a cop, when he's not in uniform, when he's not on duty, he's being considered in his private capacity, which is why you can't sue the department, or you can't hit them with a color of law claim, because he's not acting in his public official capacity. So if even an off-duty cop can operate in his private capacity and not his public one, then, man, I just seen my cousin pull up next to me. He throwing me off right now, bro, and I'm in the middle just trying to make a video. I'm at the car wash, and this dude just had to pull up on me, bro. And he finna walk up to the window. Hold on, I'll get back to y'all. So yeah, before my cousin pulled up on me, what I was saying basically is that even public officials are treated as private people when they're not in their official capacity. So how could they hold a driver's license over your head 24 hours a day when even an off-duty cop will be treated as a regular person? So people don't even realize an off-duty cop can do a lot of the same things that you can when he's not at work. I don't think people realize that they go drink and they party with their friends just like you, bro, when they're off work. Trust me, I see them do it all the time. In New York, there's cops even smoking weed now, because there's a law passed in New York that jobs can no longer drug test for weed since it's legal. So it's cops smoking weed now. And if some of these cops wasn't U.S. citizens and they didn't have to worry about beefing with their own department, then an off-duty cop could throw some private plates on his automobile and exercise his right to travel too. You feel me? Like, real talk. So just because somebody has a security license or a perk card doesn't mean that they can exercise security functions while they off work, right? Because they're back in their private capacity. They're no longer in that security capacity when they're not at work. So they can't just be walking around anywhere and just exercising that capacity. And it's like, just because I got a FOID card and a concealed carry license doesn't mean that I'm forever stuck in a public capacity. You feel me? So as far as having a driver's license, and another thing, when talking about the FOID and the concealed carry card, I know that according to our Second Amendment right, we supposed to be able to have the right to bear arms without a card or whatever the case is. But when it come down to guns, they locking people up for good time, and I'm not finna play with these white folks. You feel me? So when it come down to these guns, I'm gonna play by their rules for now. You feel me? But as far as having a driver's license, this cannot be used against somebody in their private capacity. And that's the reason why I like to operate in private trust, because trust law is undefeated. But that's for another time. I'm not going to talk about that right now. For those of you without licenses that are out here exercising your right to travel, this could be a benefit, because they may not be able to see anything attached to your name when they run the passport. They may not be able to see your address or whatever the case. But in many cases that I've heard, if you previously had a license before, then they can find that and get that information anyways. Even just because your license is not valid anymore, or you turned it in or whatever, they still got that information. And they basically just gonna treat you as someone that's driving without a valid license. And we also must remember that the majority of those without a license are usually only involved in situations regarding their plates and their license. And those are petty situations that don't even add points to your driving record or threaten you with suspension. They're pretty much just petty fines that get swept under the rug if you don't go to court. But what people are not talking about is that when people without licenses get ticketed for moving violations, such as speeding, not coming to a full stop at a stop sign, running the light, not using the signal correctly or whatever the case, and so on, then these are moving violations that do add strikes to the driving record. And in most states, 3 moving violations in a certain period of time suspends your license. And what most people don't know is that they still suspend your license even if you don't have one. If you get enough moving violations, they will suspend your driving privileges and your license, even if you don't got one. And when you don't go to court, they treat you like anybody else that don't go to court for petty traffic tickets in most states. They just gonna consider you guilty for not showing up to defend yourself. That's the same thing they do to a U.S. citizen. The same thing they do to a state citizen for not showing up is the same thing they're gonna do with a U.S. citizen. So the issue here is most without a license are exercising their right to travel. Well, the majority of you people out there without a license that are riding around with the private plates, exercising your right to travel, will never even get a moving violation to see your driving privileges suspended, because riding without the plates and riding without a license is not a moving violation. So you'll never really face the real threat of driving on a suspended license. So you can skip court all you want and nothing's really going to happen. But catch one of those driving without a suspended license charges and then try to skip court, and I guarantee it'll be a totally different outcome. You can call yourself a state citizen or a national or whatever the case is, but you try to skip court on the driving on suspended, and I guarantee it's not going to go as easy as it is just for, having private plates or whatever the case is. And I've seen those that got the passport but have a suspended license. They get treated differently than us out here that don't got a suspended license or don't got a valid license and we just driving on a passport. But if you driving around and they suspended your driving, if you traveling around and they suspended your driving privileges or whatever the case is, even though you don't have a license, I guarantee they're going to go a lot harder on you than if you just riding around with private plates. Trust me, you ain't going to be able to just skip court. They probably going to send that warrant out for you or whatever the case is. But it's gonna be bigger consequences than just little petty fines. Trust me. So basically what I'm trying to get to is, last night, all I was saying on the whole right to travel movement is this whole entire right to travel movement is based solely on case law. Literally, the whole foundation of the right to travel movement is based on case law. But yet everybody is too scared to face courts like those brave people did that created this case law in the first place. And that's holding us back from creating newer case law and not relying on this stuff from 1960s and so on. You feel me? What everyone don't want to talk about is the fact that these people that are skipping court are piling up guilty charges on their record. And even though it's just a petty traffic that can't do nothing to you, a L is still a L to me. Correct me if I'm wrong or show me different. If any of y'all out there skipping court is getting the case dismissed or getting found innocent, then show us the way, for real. If you getting these tickets and skipping court, not showing up to court at all, and they finding you innocent or they just throwing the case out, show us the way. Which one of y'all is doing that? Y'all need to come out the shadows immediately, because we need y'all. But me personally, I specially appeared in challenge jurisdiction, which was the biggest deal to them because they couldn't arraign me. I filed tons of affidavits, I filed motions, and you can even waste more of their time and do motions to suppress, motions to dismiss, and subpoena the cops to testify, subpoena the cops to do a deposition and waste more of their time. But I promise you guys, they dismiss all my right to travel charges right before trial every time. See, y'all wouldn't know how it's gonna work out for y'all because y'all be skipping court. Y'all don't even see how it's gonna work. But I got all mine dismissed. I got like 10 cases I was innocent in that I can use now in a federal suit or harassment or malicious persecution and so on. But I ain't gonna go too far today. I just wanted to start there and break down basically where I was coming from, when I was describing this stuff on the live stream to y'all last night, you feel me? But like I said, man, people without the license is getting the same results as people with the license. People that turned in the attachment statement is getting the same results as people that didn't. And if y'all can show me different, then show me different. I'm right here. Show the people. Show the people that you getting different results. Y'all people without the license and got the passport, y'all still getting tickets like everybody else, bro. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And then let's talk about what's happening when y'all skip court. Is they just dismissing the case or what? Is they dismissing the case, or is they finding you innocent? What is they doing? Because from what I'm hearing, all these people in my DM, they're getting found good. They just finding them guilty for not showing up. Basically, they putting in that order to just find you guilty because you didn't show up to defend yourself. So, and if I'm wrong about that, correct me on that. But I'm just telling you like I see it. I can't be quiet on this no more. I gotta speak up on this, bro. Real talk. But yeah, man, comment down below, man. Let me know what you think, man. I'm gonna get back to y'all soon. I'm out.